All right, what is going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with yet another mock draft.
Yeah, man, our 12th of the year. As you guys can tell by the title, man, a collab with Still Logic. I want to give a huge shout out to him, man. We did a collab with him earlier this year. It was a great collab, man. Here to do it again before the draft hits. Now, just like last time, we'll hit our mock draft first and finish it off with his mock draft, and then we'll see which is familiar and same. Now, the cool thing about this mock is we're going with a theme. The theme is we're going to be drafting like we are Kevin Colbert. Now, it's not like what we would do if we were Kevin Colbert, but what we think, like we're putting ourselves in Colbert's shoes and what he could potentially be thinking. Not what we would do as if we were Colbert, but what Colbert could be doing if we were in his shoes. So, if you guys know what I mean there. So, but let's just get into the mock, man. We're going to start with ours, of course. With the 49th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Antoine Winfield Jr., defensive back out of Minnesota. Safety. We need safety depth. It is something that the Steelers are going to have to address eventually. It's something they have looked into. It's something I can see them addressing early. And I think it's something that definitely needs to be addressed early, and that could be with our first pick. If one of the top running backs is gone, or if there's no one that just speaks to us, is there like J.K. or Taylor or whatever, we could be going safety. We could be going defensive back. We could go defense. I could see us going offensive lineman if that's the case, but I think we can save that for later and go, defense, which could, without a doubt, be defensive back / safety, which I would not be opposed to. And the guy like Winfield is a massive ball hawk.
He is.
He is a massive ball hawk. He would pair nicely with with Minkah, of course. And then, now, he might not get the starting job immediately. He could definitely challenge Edmonds.
And that's something that Edmonds desperately needs because he doesn't have anybody to challenge for. The guys behind Edmonds and Minkah are undetermined and unproven.
Absolutely.
And that really hurts us at the safety position.
Right, or just special team core guys. And the great thing is, if we want to put Winfield at strong safety opposite of Minkah, we can put Edmonds at inside linebacker / dime linebacker, and I think would suit him better because that's where he honestly produces best is when he's in the box, when he's a box safety. Mm-hmm. He has all the tools we need. He has speed. He has, of course, tackling ability. He was first or second in tackles for the team last year, so he has the tackling ability. He has the sideline speed that would pair nicely with Bush, and he has decent coverage ability. His coverage ability obviously isn't the best, but he obviously lacks deep coverage ability. Mm-hmm. As a dime linebacker, he would not necessarily worry about deep coverage, and it would suit him better, and his ball skills are getting better. He has decent ball skills. There are a few times where he does show decent ball skills, deflects the ball, makes a great play on the ball. There are also times where he fucks up. That's going to happen. You put him in the box, that's where he's more comfortable. You put him beside Bush, and you just pretty much strengthen the defense right there.
Exactly. You can have Edmonds reach his peak like we all hope that he can. And the Steelers have been looking for a dime linebacker for about 2-3 years now. In free agency, they have not struck anything at all. They've tried. They've all failed.
But the solution could be right in front of them.
And Terrell Edmonds. And you get a guy like Antoine Winfield who has NFL bloodline, and he is talented as all hell. And you have him pair with Minkah and have Edmonds go to inside linebacker, pair with Bush, and put him as a dime backer. This defense could literally be unstoppable if it's not already.
Absolutely. And this is something that a lot of Steelers fans, and of course Steel Logic and Steel Jedi, huge shout out to those two, of course, have definitely suggested and mentioned in their previous mocks, as well as all over social media. And we got to agree with them. And that's why we're putting it in our mock here. It's a great way to strengthen this defense. It's a great way to use Edmonds to the best of his ability. You have two ball-hawking safeties. It just strengthens up the defense. It adds a lot more speed to it as well. Mm-hmm. It's insane. And the thing about Winfield is, like you said, he has NFL bloodline.
And the Steelers love those NFL bloodline players. Watt, Edmonds, Bush,
Hayward,
guys like that.
Just name a few. So, the great thing, because he's obviously NFL bloodline. His father played for the NFL as a cornerback, and a very interesting fact. And I want to give you a shout out to Jedi because he was the one that brought this to my attention. Was Antoine Winfield Sr., Winfield's father, at one point played for the Minnesota Vikings as a cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tomlin, before he came to the Pittsburgh Steelers, was defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. So he coached his father. That connection is there.
It is.
It's very possible. So I'm going to give a huge shout to Jedi for bringing that to my attention. And I just think it makes sense. And, of course, Tomlin and his bloodline and his connections obviously are involved with what the Steelers do in the draft and their coaching staff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at the coaching staff we got now. Fichtner and Butler, they were all coaches at, I forget what fucking college they were, back in 98 or some shit. I forget what college. But they were all together at one point in 98, and now they're back together. So that, connection is there. It's impacting the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. It impacts, honestly, our players. That's why we drafted Terrell Edmunds so early, because Tomlin loves Virginia Tech guys. Mm-hmm. So, because he's from Virginia. So, and Tomlin coaching Antoine Winfield Sr. at one point when they were back together in Minnesota with the Vikings, it's very possible that influence could be put into effect with our 49th pick by drafting Antoine Winfield, putting him at strong safety, moving Edmunds down inside linebacker, keeping his defense young, fresh, strong, just intense. It would just strengthen the defense completely.
And maintain its dominance.
Right. I think it's a great idea, man. It's something. Winfield is honestly the biggest sleeper pick, I would say, for 49. It could be J.K., it could be Taylor, it could be a receiver, it could be Akers, it could be Hilaire. But I think Winfield is the biggest sleeper pick because of that connection.
Absolutely.
And it'd be a phenomenal pick, man. It just strengthens defense completely. Now, with the 102nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Logan Stenberg, interior offensive lineman out of Kentucky. Similar connection, Kentucky. Stenberg was one of the driving forces and one of the main blockers for that Kentucky rushing offense. And who was leading that charge for a few years? Benny Snell. Benny Snell is still with the Steelers, of course, in the second year. Yeah. You bring Logan Stenberg as a development guard eventually to replace or step in for that long-term left guard role. I think that's perfect for him. Works on his development, pairs him back up with Snell. They get that connection going, and they could steamroll with the rushing offense if you guys want to, if they want to, do those rotations.
Of course.
And stuff like that. So I think it's a good way to look at that. And it's someone that the Steelers could definitely be looking at just on that Kentucky connection. Mm-hmm. And he's a perfect development as well. So.
Absolutely. A great depth guy at first, but if he develops well over Steven Wisniewski, there you go.
Right, and he's a big mauler in the rushing game, which we definitely got to get to, which leads us to our next pick, the 124th pick, where the Pittsburgh Steelers select Darrington Evans, running back out of App State. This is someone that the Steelers have virtually met with, very recently. They are clearly interested in Darrington Evans, and he is someone that is quickly growing on both of us. Mm-hmm. He just has intense speed that the Steelers' offense and the rushing game overall lack. He has versatility. He has receiving ability. He has kick return ability. He has so many ways where he can produce on the field. I think he'd be a very fine selection at running back. You start rotating him with the rushing offense, put him in there as a versatile piece as well, and you get his few in special teams as a return specialist and challenge switcher there. I think that's really good there. Steelers are clearly interested in Evans. I think he'll add a lot of speed and, like I said, versatility and intensity to whatever aspect he's going to be getting his feet wet with, because he brings a lot of production there.
Absolutely, and you add him to this already talented running back room.
Right, and if they can stay healthy, man, who knows what they can do.
Now, with the 135th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Antonio Gandy-Golden, wide receiver out of Liberty.
Yeah, this is someone that I think is a mid day 3 sleeper, possibly early day 3 sleeper, day 3 sleeper overall. Now, there is one thing about him. He is a one-trick pony. He's only known for go routes and deep routes and jump ball ability, That's all he's really known for. That's all you really see when you look at his film.
Right.
Is, the deep ball ability, which, it's going to hurt Golden because his route tree is very limited. But you bring him into our system and the way we develop receivers, that could help him in his route tree and his release and shit like that. But he already comes with desired height. He's not the fastest guy. He runs a 4.6 flat, so he's not entirely all that fast. But he, like I said, has desired height, has exceptional hands. He can still make he can climb the ladder and make that 50-50 ball ability, make that catch there, but he can still surprise you with a splashy one-handed catch.
Right.
But again, man, he's just known as a one-trick pony because of his go route ability and his 50-50 ball ability, which, you know, it's going to hurt him, but bringing him into our system, I think that's good for him. But Antonio Gandy-Golden would definitely, I think, would apply great depth, maybe not see the field immediately because of what he lacks in speed and you know, route tree ability.
Right.
But could definitely provide some depth for guys like Deion Kane, some competition there, eventually see the field. He has desired deep threat ability and height that Ben definitely loves and has been wanting for a while. That's why you love Martavis Bryant so much.
Right.
Now, Golden has that Martavis Bryant deep threat ability. He's not as fast, but he still has deep threat ability and height that Ben, of course, desires and wants. So he would apply great rotation, honestly, for the three guys there. And I think could be a very nice depth piece for the receivers there and mix it well with not only the starting three, but, of course, Deion Kane as well. So.
Absolutely. Now with the 198th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select James Lynch, defensive tackle out of Baylor.
Yeah, so we finally go to defensive tackle here. The thing about defensive tackle, and same thing with running back and receiver, I think we're going those three positions eventually in the draft. It's just a matter of when. It seems like the Steelers are high on Isaiah Buggs and Tyson Alualu. Those are two guys that can come in and rotate for D tackle. They signed a lot of XFL guys. Granted, they just might be camp bodies, but they seem high on the two we just mentioned in Buggs and Alualu. James Lynch would come in, be competition and depth, of course, for defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. And the thing about him, he's a big sleeper for day three, honestly. His production from 2018 to 2019, that production jump, speaks for itself. So that jump and that translation might not transit to the NFL, but you know, you still bring him in as depth and development and eventually and possibly competition at D tackle. I think that helps out the young core there at D tackle. And two big sleepers right there on Buggs and Lynch could definitely battle out and make each other better with competition. So
absolutely,
that's the way I see it.
Definitely. And with the final pick, the 232nd overall, we the Pittsburgh Steelers select John Reed, cornerback out of Penn State. Cornerback depth, we lost Artie Burns, thank God, in free agency, but you can never have too many cornerbacks on your team. So John Reed, I think he'd be a nice, solid depth guy, and yeah,
and also he could give some competition to what the hell's his name? Justin Reed. Justin Reed. I wish we had Justin fucking Reed, not Terrell Evans, right. But Justin Lane, from Michigan State last year, who looked very raw. And, of course, he might be primed for a bigger role in the future. He's going to need some competition, specifically outside competition. John Reed kind of lacks in size, but he can still play outside, so we could provide some competition there. So that's one way to look at it. He's not only depth but potential competition. I think that's really needed for our young cornerbacks and defensive backs overall is competition. So that's the way I look at it. But that is our mock draft, man. But now on to Steel Logic's mock, of course, man. And with the 49th pick, he selects Laviska Shenault, wide receiver out of Colorado. I love this pick. I think Shenault is a great receiver. I think he has the makings to be a more consistent Sammy Watkins. People are saying somewhat kind of another Larry Fitzgerald. Of course, no one's ever going to be another Larry Fitzgerald.
No, without a doubt. But Laviska has a shit ton of talent. He is He's something.
He is. He has really desired height, 6'2", 6'3"-ish. He's similar to Gandy-Golden. He's not the fastest guy. He runs a 4.58, so he's slightly faster than Gandy-Golden if you want to be technical. But you know, although I think receiver definitely could use the receiver position specifically could use a lot of speed. Shenault, really makes up. His lack of speed, he really makes it up for his production, his ability. His yak yards is really impressive to me. My only issue with Shenault would probably be his durability and his injuries. That's one thing that really fears me about Shenault and possibly his future and could potentially lead him to dropping is because of his durability.
Right.
But when he's healthy, he is an electric guy with the ball in his hands. His yak ability is great. And he'd be a phenomenal guy to come in and rotate with the three guys we got. Same thing with Deion Kane, of course. So that's a great way I look at it. Shenault would be great in the black and gold, man. A lot of Steelers fans are really high on this guy. So if he can stay healthy, I think this guy can add a lot of great production and spark to this offense, man. Someone Ben would love, especially with desired height. So
absolutely. Now with Steel Logic's 102nd overall pick, he selects Kevon Wallace, safety out of Clemson.
Yeah, safety depth. Not only safety depth, but safety competition. And potentially a solution at dimebacker maybe, if you want to consider him there. He'd be a phenomenal in sub packages, honestly. And although we kind of have guys for that, you know, we have Cameron Sutton there, but I think that's another versatile piece we have on the defense. There is Kevon Wallace, who is a steady guy for Clemson in the backfield, or in the secondary, rather.
Right.
And, you know, someone we put in the mock draft last week are really high on, someone we could see the Steelers drafting, because, I mean, they went to Clemson's pro day. They were definitely looking at someone like Kevon Wallace. They need safety depth and someone to challenge Edmonds. That's Wallace, but someone that can come in, get his feel in special teams as well as sub packages and dime packages. So I love that selection there as well.
Absolutely.
Kevon Wallace, big sleeper at safety depth, youth there, and competition there, but is still someone that's going to get his feet wet with his defense eventually.
Absolutely. Excellent pick.
Yeah. Now with the 124th pick, Steel Logic selects Tyler Biadasz, interior offensive lineman out of Wisconsin. Love this pick. We are really high on Biadasz, a.k.a. Tyler Badass. So I think he's a guy that can come in, be a great development at guard and center, potentially take over that Pouncey role, but he can play guard as well, so he can still be developed at guard, potentially be a nice versatile piece that we could use for depth, although we have Wisniewski there.
But that's the good thing about this Wisniewski sign. He is a veteran offensive lineman, and he can start possibly right away. He really can.
Or if not, he can still be that versatile depth piece that we need to replace B.J. Finney. But we still need a development to eventually take over that left guard role long term.
We need youth.
Or center role.
Yeah, and we need youth on this offensive line. If we were to get a guy like Tyler Biadasz in the drafts, Wisniewski can be that veteran guy, and Biadasz can be developed. And when it's his time, and Wisniewski's done, Biadasz is ready. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a perfect scenario.
Absolutely. It's the perfect time to develop a development and eventual solution for guard or center or tackle. And it's a great way to look at it. And Biadasz is a big guy we're definitely high on, so love the pick there. Now at the 135th pick, Steel Logic selects Markus Bailey, linebacker out of Purdue. Decent pick, honestly. My only concern with Bailey is, of course, his major knee injuries. I think he had injuries in 2015 and last year, 2019, correct me if I'm wrong. But, of course, he would be a special teams guy. He would be inside linebacker depth. He can play inside and out, of course. He'd be linebacker depth. He would play special teams primarily. He's not a guy that's going to see the field a lot unless, of course, knock on wood, anything happens due to injuries. But he'd be a special teams guy, which could definitely help there.
Exactly. Matakavage's possible replacement.
Arguably so, yeah. And with the 198th pick, he has a similar pick to what we had with James Lynch, defensive tackle out of Baylor, of course, defensive tackle depth, but someone that could definitely challenge and battle for a starting gig eventually, possibly this coming year, honestly, if they're too high on the guy. And with his last pick, the 232nd pick, he selects Adrian Killins, running back out of USC. This is definitely a late day 3 sleeper, honestly.
USC, it's UCF.
USC. What the fuck am I talking about? UCF.
Now, I know USC has a lot of great talented players, but don't go away from UCF. And Adrian Killins, this guy's got a ton of potential.
Yeah, he's definitely a late day 3 guy, someone that could potentially go undrafted, someone that can be picked up and be an undrafted gem. But he selects him here with the 7th round pick, and I like it. You know, someone that is definitely growing on us, a big sleeper late day 3, possibly undrafted, and brings a lot of production to any stage you want to put him on. Where, you know, because anytime he didn't get a lot of playing time in UCF, excuse me. But when he did, he definitely made the most out of it with his production, man. He definitely has a nose for the end zone. He has versatility. He has that receiving ability that you want in a running back nowadays. He has that NFL skill set, and he has return ability. So he's kind of like Darrington Evans, maybe not as fast, but similar versatility, similar way to bring production to any stage you put him on.
Exactly.
And it could be a way to get him on the field and still make a spark play wherever he can be put on, and someone that can definitely make the most out of his opportunities. So I like that pick there. But anyway, guys, that was our mock draft. Quick overview of both mock drafts. SteelTwins mock draft, we select Antoine Winfield, with the second pick. The third round pick is Logan Stenberg. With the fourth round picks, it's Darrington Evans and Antonio Gandy-Golden. The sixth round pick, it's James Lynch. And the seventh round pick, it's Don Reed. And Steel Logic mock, the second round pick is Laviska Shenault. Third round pick is Kevon Wallace. Fourth round picks are Tyler Biadasz and Markus Bailey. Sixth round pick is James Lynch as well. And the seventh round pick is Adrian Killen. So, anyway, guys, that's the Steel Twins and Steel Logic collab part 2 for the 2020 NFL draft season. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below. Of course, let us know if you guys have any mock draft of your own. Any suggestions, of course, for both mocks. Let us know your guys' opinions about both mocks down below, of course, again. And, man, we're only 1 week away from the NFL draft. So, see you guys next week for our final Steelers mock draft. And, man, the draft is just around the corner, 1 week away. I feel like yesterday it was a Super Bowl.
Right.
And now we got the NFL draft 1 week away.
The draft is almost upon us, so hurry up, please.
Yeah, literally.
I'm excited for the draft, although we don't have a first-round pick. I'm glad of what we got in return. And again, thank you, Miami.
Yes, I want to give you a round of applause for that. Do I have a proper sound effect? Thank you. Thank you, Miami. You guys deserve all the applause for saving our defense and our secondary and pretty much our goddamn team for the next decade. So thanks a lot there. And again, let us know you guys' thoughts down below. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to Steel Logic, of course. Thanks for the collab, man. It was a lot of fun. And, of course, the Steel City Disciples overall. As you guys know, Steel Maiden, Steel Jedi, of course, Steel Logic. We got the Renegade 412. We got Steel Jackson. We got Erica Steel. We got Tenants of Steel. We got Lady Steel. We got Brune Steel. Man, there's so many guys that are just part of the group. It's amazing to see how much we've grown. So, huge shout out to all those guys. If you guys haven't subbed to those guys, definitely do so. They got a lot of great content coming out this upcoming season for the Steelers, of course. And, of course, their draft reactions as well on their respective channels. So, but see you guys in the next one, man.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!